Okay, so this is the lesson, and I'm gonna replace what was originally topic number 4. So topic number 4 I originally had planned for you guys was graphing rational functions. So make sure that you guys have this new packet where topic number 4 is solving rational equations. So Mr. Sutera should give you guys um, that replacement. If not, make sure you ask him because I would have given him the replacement in his mailbox. So make sure you ask him for that. Okay, so solving rational equations is a lot like solving proportions, and it's almost identical except the algebra is more complicated. But the steps are pretty similar. So the first step is to cross multiply, and step 2 solves for x. And when you're solving x here in step 2, you may have a linear equation or you maybe have a quadratic equation, which, depending on which type you have, will determine which your method of solving for x. Okay, so let's go into example number 1. So for example number 1, I have this rational equation here where I have two rational expression on either side of the equal sign, and I'm trying to figure out the x that makes it true. So the first step is I'm going to cross multiply. So x times x minus 7 would look like this. And then now I'm multiplying the 3 times 6, and that's going to be on the other side of the equal sign. So that's going to give us 18. Okay, so I cross multiplied, and now we want to solve for x. So solving for x requires us multiplying everything out if there's any multiplication. So in this case we do. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 7 gives me negative 7x. And then I have equal to 18. So the first thing I see here is I see an x squared. That's telling me that in step 2 here I have a quadratic equation I have to solve. So that means I have to bring all the terms to the same side here. So I'm going to bring this 18 to the other side by subtracting it. So I'll have this when I subtract it over. So for solving for x, I'm going to now, let me just move this further down. Okay, so that means I'm going to factor this. So since it's a simple one in the sense that there's a coefficient of 1, I can use a shortcut for factoring. So two numbers that multiply to give you negative 18, but add to give you 7. That will have to be 9 and 2. The 9 has to be negative, and the 2 has to be positive. So this factors this. And now to solve for x, I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. So x minus 9 equal to 0. That means x has to be 9. And then I have x plus 2 equal to 0. For that to be true, x has to equal negative 2. So my two answers, or my two solutions, are x equals 9 and x equals negative 2. And before I kind of just round it out and just write the final answer, I just want to make sure that these two numbers don't make the denominator here 0. So if I plug in 9 here, 9 minus 2, that's not 0. Sorry, 9 minus 7, that's 2, that's not 0. Negative 2 minus 7, that's negative 9, that's not 0. So these two solutions are the answers to this rational equation. Okay, so for first step, we're going to cross multiply. Okay, so that's the cross multiplication is done. And now I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to have to multiply everything out here. So that's going to give me 12x squared plus 8x. And then distributing the 3 will give me positive 9x plus 6 equal sign. And now I'm going to distribute the 6x here. So it'll be 12x squared plus 15 wait, no, yeah, negative 18x, and then we're going to distribute the negative 5, so that'll give us negative 10x plus 15. Okay, now I'm going to combine like terms. So it'll be 12x squared plus 17x plus 6 equal to 12x squared minus 28x plus 15. Now I'm going to subtract all these terms over. So I'm going to subtract the 12x squared over, and then I'm going to add the 28x, and I'm going to subtract the 15. Okay, so the 12x and the 12x here are going to subtract to give me 0. And then the 17x and the 28x will combine to give you 45x. And then the 6 and the negative 15 will combine to give you negative 9x equal to 0. Now we have a linear equation which is different than the previous one, so I'm going to have to isolate the x by adding 9 first. So we'll have 45x equals 9. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 45. Therefore, x equal to 9 over 45. And I'm going to reduce by dividing by 9. So you get 1 over 5. So the solution is x equal to 1/5.